Hello, everybody!
Woo! Hey!
Congratulations! You have made it to the Spectrum Sanctorum, and we are going to be discussing She-Hulk here today. It's the She-Hulk Aftershow. Today's episode, Ribbit or Ribbit.
Ribbit.
Oh.
And we got the long-awaited debut
of Leapfrog.
We've all been waiting for. Leapfrog. And some other lawyer from Hell's Kitchen named Matt Murdock also stopped in. This seemed to be what everybody was waiting for. How do we feel about the initial what's our initial feelings? Rick, how do you feel?
I feel good. Like, I know there was a bit of high tensions for this. Everyone was excited about it, but I really loved it. I enjoyed this episode. Everyone was going on about, how bad he was going to be in this episode, but it just worked for me. I think I liked his tone. I loved his chemistry with She-Hulk. I loved the whole how they were in battle in lawyer land with each other, which was great, and a bit of romance with them as well, which was a bit spicy, which was great as well. But I really enjoyed this episode. Good introduction to Daredevil to the MCU. All right.
Billy Club. Welcome back to the show, Billy. Tell me how you felt about today's episode.
I thought this was the best one of the season. I think that I loved the way that they actually played off the court part of it and the superhero part. It was nice actually seeing Leapfrog in court and actually seeing back and forth between Jen and Matt Murdock.
Yeah, the episode gave me a lot of things that I did not even think I was going to get. And of course, I got to talk to my man. I know him as the captain, but today he's Daredevil.
What up, y'all? Daredevil, that's right. I'm going to be swooping Hell's Kitchen this week. Making sure I don't be coming to... Yeah, I'm from dirty Jersey, kids.
The episode.
This was a lot of fun. And, I knew that this was going to be amazing and it wasn't going to let me down. And I was right. And it didn't. And it had a lot of things that made me laugh a lot loud. And, as my mom called it, we're going to usually wait for later, but it kind of fits. Sex and the She-Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very fitting. And I was here for it. So.
Yeah. I mean, today, when I was watching it this morning. And to me, this was everything that I wanted from the show. It was the funniest episode to me. It was arguably the most action-packed episode to me. So this was everything I hoped the show would be. And there's still people mad, but
yeah.
You can't please everybody. You just can't please it. I was extremely happy. So I guess we should get into our first segment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
that episode was I gotta get some music for that.
I loved it. No, until we do the musical stylings of the group.
Good work, Josh. Good work.
We just got to make that our soundboard and just have that on a loop.
I have the capability to do that. I just have to learn how to program my soundboard, and then we'll be good to go. I have all these buttons, and they light up. It's really cool.
But before you get to playing with your buttons, remember we're live. Let's talk about what that episode was. Does anyone want to give a synopsis? How you feeling, Dove? You want to give a synopsis of what happened in this episode?
So, She-Hulk attorney at law finds herself in the crosshairs between love and danger. This week, her client, Leapfrog, finds himself in quite the predicament. And it also puts in herself in quite the legal predicament with her Threads attorney.
Threads attorney.
Yeah. Her her dapper Don, who is making the new dress for her lawyer award.
Yeah,
And
Luke Jacobson.
Luke Jacobson, thank you. And it put them at odds. And she mysteriously stumbles upon the wild devil of Hell's Kitchen. So there's your synopsis. And they have sex. They have the sex.
Oh, God.
They meet and then sex happens.
There was a lot of green all over.
Yes, there was definitely a confrontation both in the courtroom
and in the bed
and
in the sheets.
And in the sheets. That's right.
Ken Walters, the She-Hulk, and Matt Murdock, the Daredevil.
That's right.
In the end, things seemed really
The walk of shame.
The walk of shame. Yeah.
We're gonna get to that. We're absolutely gonna get to that. We saw the episode seemingly like it was going to end on a positive light. We had a superhero team up. You know, there was some sexy times and everybody seemed happy. There was even a little reference to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But even She-Hulk, you know, Jen was like, ooh, this feels early. It feels like we're ending this episode early.
Yeah, that was cool.
So positive. But as we get to the gala, we see the intelligentsia and whoever the Hulk King is, who has still not been revealed, exposes private information, including a sex tape with Jen and
Josh.
Jen.
Yep, Josh.
Jen and Josh. Double J. Woo.
J. Just kind of being exposed to everybody, which led to Jen hulking out, like not just turning green, but actually showing the anger that we come to expect from Hulks, and how quickly people ran from her and turned on her. She went from celebrity to monstrosity very, very quick. Billy, all these events, what did you take away from it? What was the most compelling moment for you?
Well, I'd say like the moments that I liked were the dynamics between She-Hulk and Daredevil. That one, like at the warehouse thing, I was saying like that was like great. But yeah, that takeaway at the end, that was a surprise. I thought that could have actually been an episode on its own. They like really kind of rushed it, but that was actually an interesting thing. That could have been an episode. I would have preferred that more than the Taylor one.
Yeah, it's I guess that's part of the reason why it was introduced in the end of this episode, because next episode is going to be the finale, where we're going to, rush into the results, the aftermath of what we saw in today's episode. Dove, we still don't know who the Hulk King is. We've never really had like a main antagonist. I guess the closest thing we've had to it is the intelligentsia. But there hasn't been a major antagonist like throughout the whole series. Like, we've seen Titania show up. We've seen today
the Wrecking Crew and
the Wrecking Crew,
Leapfrog. How do you feel about now going into this next episode? Do you feel that now you have some risen stakes? Do you feel excited about next week's episode?
I'm excited. We got not only steaks, we got sizzling steaks, baby. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun next week because
Rick did not like that. Rick did not like that at all.
Sizzling steaks.
So if you guys remember the Sizzler, yes. It's defunct, so I can use a catchphrase. Yeah. But I think there's going to be a lot to unpack next week, because we're going to have probably the first appearance in the MCU anywhere of MODOK, because you can't just have all this hype about intelligentsia without somebody being the mastermind behind it. And I don't think, like we had discussed in a couple episodes last week, I don't think they're going to bring out the leader for this, because he's going to be the main baddie for the new Captain America. Falcon flying shield, is that what the nickname is? But He's going to be the villain. I'm making that up.
I believe the next Captain America movie is New World Order.
Yeah, that one. So he's going to be, the main villain of that. So I think we're going to get to see MODOK, and I'm super hyped for that because that's a Hulk villain I've always enjoyed looking at because it's a giant head with these tiny little hands, and it's a lot of fun to look at. And I heard that they're going in a very different direction, but it'll be fun to see what they do.
Rick, we've seen the team ups, we've seen references. We're going to talk about those later. And again, we're seeing these risen stakes happening. The tone of She-Hulk has changed dramatically. What did you take away from this episode?
It's just that last bit, really, like everyone is talking about how she's broken that fourth wall. And then that last shot of her when she looks down that camera after she's just been surrounded by, damage control. It could go both ways because this show isn't really predictable. So we don't know which way it's going to go. It could go a couple of ways. She could be captured by those guys. She gets locked up. She needs her lawyer friends to help her get out. Maybe they go on that way. I don't know. Or she goes completely full rage Hulk and destroys everything. And then everyone sees her for what she really is, the monster that refers back to the first episode when she was talking with Bruce, how they were saying that, when people see you as the monster, they will never forget you as that. So, yeah. Looking forward to it. We just don't know which way it's going to go, but we know it's going to be a good episode, but we still don't know. And I've got thoughts about who may be the leader of the intelligentsia. It's a theory. I don't know, but there's a lot of talk, especially in this episode. They were talking about Leapfrog's father. We didn't know him by name. We know him by name in the comics, but he's a big, he's a big client of theirs. So, and he's got a lot of money. He could be backing a lot of things. So we might see him. Obviously,
Mephisto confirmed.
No, we might see him in this next episode, or we might see him in upcoming maybe Daredevil or Echo series as well. So maybe something along those lines. I reckon.
Interesting.
Just some thoughts.
I think what's going to be challenging for She-Hulk next week is I think she's going to be very alone. We've seen the help of her friends. This week we saw Daredevil, but Bruce is not around. Bruce is in a whole nother planet and galaxy possibly. And Daredevil, I imagine, caught that flight back to New York.
Yeah.
Yep.
So whatever she's going through, she's really going to be on her own. It'll be interesting to see how she goes through that. Since this episode, she wasn't alone. We got to see Daredevil. We got to see them fight, and we got to see them team up, and we got to see a little love connection as well. I want a review of all three. Rick, how did you feel about the fight? How did you feel about their teamwork?
Love.
How did you feel about the love connection?
I loved the fight scene. Was great. I thought they did that really, really well. It wasn't overly too impactful. It was great. But the one that I really enjoyed the most was the alleyway. There was a scene where they were all coming. They were inside the hideout, and they were all coming down
at the lily
down
pad.
there. Yeah, the lily pad.
Yeah.
That was a little reference to the Netflix series. But then when Jen crashes down and then, stomps on him, it's just that little relation saying, well, hang on a minute, this is my show. You know what I mean? This is my show. This is not Daredevil, which was really, really cool. And they played that subtle little bit of music from the Netflix show as well, which I thought was a good take. It was just nice to remind everyone that we still pay respect to that Netflix Daredevil show. So I thought that was just a good touch to it. And it was nice. Jen found a bit of romance, Matt Murdock's a bit suave, he knows how to charm the ladies, and I think she got swept away because she's had a bad run with. It's right, man. Yeah, she's had that bad run with the lovers, I guess. The last one has just
Daredevil in the sheets, Matt Murdock in the streets.
It's I loved it. I thought it was good.
Dove, let me get your.
Well,
We're done with the juvenile
Jesus.
finger art.
Yeah, I finger paint.
Let me get your review. How you feel about the fight, the partnership, and the romance?
I think it was fantastic. All of it. The fighting was really cool. I do feel like they tried to kind of capture that ambiance that we got in the Netflix show, and I think they did a pretty decent job because I'm pretty sure it's probably the same people behind the scenes, but nevertheless, the action was great, and it was a nice balance in this episode because a lot of people were probably upset with this show because there wasn't as much action as they would expect in a Marvel property, especially when you have a Hulk attached to it. And this one really changed that. And her jumping out and saying, She-Hulk smash. That was fun. Their relationship outside of the courtroom, because though she may have beaten him physically as the superhero, she couldn't beat him in court. And he does it for free, pro bono. And I thought that was fantastic. Pro bono. No, sorry. I had to. Sorry. Yeah.
You have to, Joe.
No, I didn't. But it was there. I had to. Anyway. And I thought that was very clever, though, the way they handled that situation. And how funny was it that how quickly they realized what an idiot Leapfrog was. I didn't tell you to put jet fuel in the suit. Well, yeah, no, I didn't put jet fuel. Yeah, put jet fuel. And the judge was like, okay, leave. And she was pretty pissed off. And I thought this all meshed together very well. I think it was a great one-off episode for the show that builds into what's going to be the crescendo of next week's big finale, because there's probably going to be a lot going on in one episode. Will we see the intelligentsia be run by MODOK like I'm hoping, or will it be a whole big another thing like it was Blonsky all along, or maybe Wanda? Who knows?
It's only Agatha all along.
Oh, Agatha, yeah.
Yeah.
Agatha all along. So that's my 2 cents.
Billy, I need to know what you think of the partnership, and were you happy with Daredevil? Did you get?
Yeah, I was happier with Daredevil in this than I was in the Defenders. This was.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
fair enough.
I liked to see the dynamic between the two. I liked seeing like Daredevil having a sense of humor. It was kind of more like some of the more modern comic books as opposed to like the Frank Miller ones. It's nice getting a little bit of the more of the Mark Waid's and some of the other stuff in there, and just getting Daredevil that can actually have a sense of humor but also still be serious. I love that fight and the lily pad. That was still great. They filmed it cinematically just like they did the Daredevil show, and that's the same director that they've had for most of the episodes of She-Hulk. They did not bring in a guest director.
Right. The it's funny you bring up the mood and compared it to Mark Waid's run on Daredevil, because as a child I was not a big Daredevil fan because I just thought he was a Spider-Man ripoff.
It's Blind Spider-Man.
Well, kind of. It's when you look at like even before Grant Morrison's run, like before that, he was rocking his suit, swinging with his billy club and cracking jokes and big smiles. He was very kind of cheesy and looked very much like all of the Silver Age Marvel comic characters of the time. It wasn't until Morrison's run where we really got the dark, brooding Daredevil, and then we got to see more of that during Bendis's run and Brubaker's run, and I think people have come to expect the brooding Daredevil to be the only Daredevil, but he's been this kind of jokey, charismatic guy for quite some time. Even his earliest origins show him, with a bit of just a swashbuckling like charm. Not an exact swashbuckler. He's not El Aguilar, but he's got that swashbuckler charm. I think we spoke about what this episode was enough. I think it's time we move on to references. Reference.
And kill again. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanna publicly acknowledge Rick, thank Rick, for finding images across the web and
You're welcome.
bringing them all here to the sanctorum, so we can all discuss it right now. Let's start with. Can we start with the signal? Can we start?
Yes.
Yeah, we sure can.
Frog signal. Look at
So
that.
good.
I thought that was
So
great.
good.
Is that
That was
Commissioner
great.
Gordon back there? Who's lighting up that signal?
I look like,
Who
it
is?
does look like Commissioner Gordon. A little nod to bats, you know.
Yeah,
That's a
I
subtle
think
touch.
it's great
I
because
also like you wanted a Jarvis.
it was yes, absolutely. But it was, we talked about Leapfrog and his I guess relationship with his father. His father in the comic is the original Leapfrog. Whereas and in the book, what was his name? Is for Tilo? Was that it was Eugene Vincent? I can't pronounce his last name.
Vincent Patilio?
Patilio.
P-A-T
There we go.
Patilio?
Tilio. So Vincent, or the one we're looking at today, would be Frogman and is actually a hero. In fact, everyone was predicting that we were going to see Frogman and not Leapfrog. It feels like they've combined the Leapfrog and Frogman characters.
Wasn't it like in the comics was it because it was like he just created a suit that just made him spring? That was it. Like jump far. That was his only thing that suit could do.
I think there was some rocket propulsion depending on whose suit it was. Because the original Fertilio, Leapfrog, he worked at a toy company, which probably explains some of the arcades that we saw in the Lily Pad.
Yes.
But it never really took off, and so he was using the gadgets that he had there, which were a lot of them were faulty and not very good. He didn't have a Jacob Luke.
Making him the suit.
But he used his faulty gadgets to build a life of crime, whereas his son tried to redeem the name and build the life of a superhero. But who knows what his father will be now? Like, you said that we could maybe see his father, and who knows what representation of his father, that may be.
He's still confirmed.
All I know is in this episode, instead of Batman and a bat signal, we have a millionaire kid, a trust fund kid, trying to be Batman and not very successful.
No. What else we got, Joe? What else we got? What other photos?
What other references we see there?
There he is. That's obviously him when they had the courtroom.
So how about that gun?
Tell me about the gun. You're very interested in the gun. Tell me about
I am, because I don't know what it is.
I think I think it is a smaller version of the Sonic gun that they had in the Incredible Hulk, but just smaller. You know how they have the
big Sonic one that they tried to use, and he just pissed him off even more.
Pissed him off. I think that's what that is.
So that'll work good again.
Not that I'm a tech genius or anything, but that's what I'm thinking. If you're going to go up against a Hulk, you'd want unless it's a shrink ray, but
Let's go ahead and get a picture of Daredevil up there. We finally get a nice look at his red and yellow suit, or as Shulk put it, the
ketchup and mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Great line. So good.
Not my favorite suit, but it's a throwback to the original outfit.
Right.
How'd you guys enjoy seeing it?
I thought it was cool. I actually enjoyed that because one of the Daredevil comic books I used to like was the Tim Seal and Jeff Loeb comic book, Daredevil Yellow.
Daredevil Yellow. That was a very good
1964, wasn't it? When we first saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when it first
Yeah.
appeared in the comics. Yeah.
So
Sips tea.
Do you think we'll be seeing this red and yellow suit in
Daredevil Reborn?
I feel like we'll see it in Reborn.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll be seeing it for a long time? Do you think he'll be transitioning to the red suit?
I don't reckon we'll see
the
it.
red suit from the 90s.
Yeah, I
I'm not sure if
reckon
they'll
we'll
do the
see it
battle
for.
armor.
I reckon we'll see it for a little bit, and then, what we got 18 episodes of that show, so they're gonna see it for a little bit, and then it will progress. It will change, definitely. I can't see them using it all, or who knows? Or who knows when it's set though? Well, who knows when it's set? You know what I mean? How often after this? You know what I mean?
Sure
From
enough,
this show,
sure
so yeah. But what about her suit? What about her costume?
Yes,
I love that costume.
Finally,
You're right. It's her show.
it's her show.
Yeah.
Did we like it? Obviously, it's not the original
Yes.
because the original was just a white cloth ripped. But anyway, they couldn't do that one. But
No.
But no, I kind of dug it. I liked it.
I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed all of her costume choices. I enjoyed the. I don't have an image, unfortunately, but I enjoyed the outfit she wore at home when doing the reference to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She was wearing the gray shirt and the gray shorts. She looked good, and her friend shows up behind her like, "Hey, we're getting ready to go to this gala. I saw this weird guy doing the Walk of Shame dressed as the devil," and she was holding up like Wolverine claws, but like spoons and forks.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was a good call.
Yeah, did I say sporks? I don't think anyone has
Sporks,
sporks.
No, was it?
I thought it was makeup brushes.
They went there for a makeup. Wasn't it like her stuff for a makeup?
Yeah. It
That's
was
what I
makeup
thought.
brushes.
Makeup equipment?
Yeah.
Man, I look foolish. All right.
Yeah.
We can edit this out,
No,
right?
it was.
No, we're live.
We're live,
It was forks and spoons, man. It was
Forks and spoons. Forks and
Yeah.
spoons. I saw it. It was definitely.
Yeah, it was.
Don't
Yeah.
correct me. I don't. They were getting ready to eat. Yeah, it was very
That's
early.
right. That's right. Yeah. Let's just go with that.
Sure.
All right. Good. And so I guess now let's jump into the free for all. There's a few things I want to talk about. Unless anyone else has any references they want to.
Well, I like that one reference before you head off.
Go ahead.
They listed almost everything that was an Iron Man suit as things that he wanted for his leapfrog costume.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
He kidnapped Luke and asked for, what was it, the British AI voice?
The British AI voice. Stinger missiles.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I haven't seen Paul Bettany in a while. I'm sure he wouldn't mind having his voice used in a leapfrog suit. Or now that he has Marvel money, is he too good for a leapfrog suit?
He's probably too good for a leapfrog suit. Yeah. And he's Vision, so he's like, I don't need to do this.
Just quickly, did anyone like that little scene with her and Todd, the guy that she went on that? Was that necessary, or you know what I mean? Like she goes in, he goes, "Yeah, I got a Wakanda spear, cost me $1 million." There's a bit of was that a necessary scene in this?
Well, I think he's part of the intelligentsia. I think he's Hulk King.
You reckon?
The Hulk King.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
See now, like that's interesting because I was about to agree with Rick. I'm not sure what his actual purpose was. I wouldn't be surprised if he was part of the intelligentsia as far as like someone who's on the website and comment boards, etc. I didn't see him as the Hulk King in my mind, but I can absolutely see him as part of the community. So
is he just a wannabe Tony Stark? Like he's got money.
Yeah.
He's got a tech background.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is he playing that good guy? Or I just can't see him being, the Hulk King. I just don't see that connection of what he's
I think he got the spear from Claw, so that's why I think that's like one of the things that ties into intelligentsia. I mean, who else was stealing from Wakanda?
It's not only that, I'm not sure how much success Killmonger had before he met his untimely demise, but he was getting ready to sell some weaponry himself. So I don't know how much of this.
Yeah, there's the Wakanda spear.
Yeah, I don't know that whole scene. And was it just showing that those items are still on the black market? You could still buy them. You know what I mean? We had that already in previous shows. You know, it was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They had it.
Yeah.
Was it that one? Yeah. So is that? I don't know. It's got to be something. I'm thinking on it, but it's just something.
No,
I was in the crowd at the gala before the She-Hulk video played.
Mm-hmm. Like it did look like he might have been the guy in the mask.
Yeah. That's trying to take a blood.
I feel like they constantly bring him in to let us know that he is going to matter later on.
Yeah.
Again, I don't necessarily see him as the Hulk King, but I can absolutely see him as a part of the intelligentsia in general.
Yeah.
So, like Joe, you think he's Mephisto?
But I agree with you.
Confirmed.
No, stop. But I agree with you, Rick. I feel like it was oddly placed. It didn't necessarily flow well. So his being there, if it served any sort of purpose, it probably had to tease what he's doing in the future, because didn't really do much in the episode.
Yeah, I agree. Well, he's he's something. He's someone.
He's somebody. All right, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Free
for all.
Let's go.
We're free.
Free for all. All right, so here's where we find our friends in the comics and say hello to our friends, including my own mother. Hi, Mom. She has arrived. Hello. Brandon is right. You can't please everyone. Screw the haters. Spectrum Sanctorum knows best. That's right. We know best. And then you all forgot about the designer Queer Eye for the She-Hulk. Okay. Daredevil was fantastic. You guys talk about how Daredevil is so serious. Sex with the She-Hulk will make anyone smile. You know, unless you death by snoo snoo. Matt Bamba Langa, what's up, buddy? Matt gave Shulky the special mustard. The hook.
Oh no!
Salute, fellas.
Mustard.
No, he got this. She got the special mustard. Skeet. You realize that Jessica is a crap lawyer. Lawyer would discover that Leaker would put rocket fuel in his boots and tried to settle out of court.
Don't say that, Mama. She's
doing her best. She's doing her best.
A lousy client.
Yeah, she helped Robert Morra. What's up?
I'd say she's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
she does get around.
Yeah. Hey, they all get around.
Murdoch, I mean, she's stepping up a little bit. She at least went out with him for like over 2 nights, and there's no fries.
We know.
I mean, that's a plus.
We talking about the special mustard. We're talking about sex and the She-Hulk. So let's get serious about this.
Okay.
There's been a little bit of backlash about just sex in general in She-Hulk. I'm not sure if it's so much because it's Marvel, but that this is it's on Disney Plus. And I think there might be parents, there might be, they think it's for kids, or do you feel that? I don't feel like anything gratuitous has been shown. Really?
No.
Like we haven't seen anything crazy as far as
we haven't seen any of the,
right. So
they would never do that.
But at least one of us here is a parent. And I know a couple of the people in the comment section.
Okay, yeah, my mom's
okay.
Wait, is that we're supposed to be mature and responsible? Oh no!
Sorry.
I have a puppy. I guess that counts.
This is the free. Do we feel that there is there no place for sexual relations in the Marvel universe? Is there?
I mean, it's always implied that Peter Parker's parking. I mean,
It's always been there, though.
Yeah.
It's always been there in the comics. It's always been there. But how do you display it? How do you, you know,
I mean, when you think about
They could
Deadpool,
just
Deadpool's coming to Disney, and it led to Disney Plus having you got to put in
Look
an
how much-
adult code now if you
yeah.
want to watch Disney Plus. Same
Yeah.
thing with Eternals. Eternals, as
Had
weird as
Leo.
it was, had the first MCU sex scene, so to speak. It was a really weird scene.
Yeah.
But sex, it seems to be more prevalent now in the MCU.
Plus, they got the Netflix shows that had a couple of those scenes. I mean, Daredevil did hook up with the Night Nurse and Elektra.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not sure if I remember there being so much complaints. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
But I don't remember there being so much complaints when Netflix was, that was rated M for mature right there. That was so.
You're right, though.
Do we feel
It's because they're not a Mickey Mouse operation.
Mm-hmm.
It's attached to Disney. That's what it is. But even in the old Disney cartoons, they've all had
They have
that.
references, isn't there? Wasn't
They
there
have
a penis?
references. There's
Oh,
to
if you
it,
saw the
you know?
Rescuers Down Under, Rescuers, not the Rescuers Down Under, the first Rescuers, they had a Playboy magazine in them, animated in the movie.
yes, there have been some weird hidden, not necessarily Easter eggs because it wasn't intended for fans to find. That was really the animators just doing
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
Aladdin, that whole thing, take off your clothes, that was another thing was hidden in the original Aladdin.
But it's I think we're used to implied sex in Disney products. Nala giving those eyes to Simba, those come hither eyes.
And wasn't it? And then the crab singing "Kiss the Girl," what's going to happen after the kiss?
And all that's implied, like you said, even Ursula saying, work with what you got, show off your goods.
Yeah.
That's a big difference between ending this episode with somebody saying, "Oh yeah," and She-Hulk's a slut. Like that's
Yeah.
That was
That's just.
I don't think. Personally, I'm fine with it. Like I read comics, there's sex in the comics, and I think sex is just part of life in general. You can't run away from it. I thought everything was rather tasteful, though. I didn't think anything was super crazy. So I don't, and I think being sex positive is a good thing. The show has been very sex positive, and the country and everywhere around the world because we are international. But there are some conservative areas that just don't like, sex on the programming. So when they see Megan Thee Stallion twerking, it's they oh my God, everybody's
Yeah.
So I just want to know if any of you guys share some of those feelings. It seems like we're all on the same page, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Be okay.
No, I mean, and you're right though. You look at the whole sex scene in Deadpool, the first one. They went through the whole calendar, the whole, you know what I mean, the whole seasons.
Oh yeah, Happy
Like,
Women's
it's
Day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're like, if you're gonna do that show, they're gonna have to do it from day dot if they're doing Disney. Excuse my two nieces yelling and screaming in the background, guys, if you can hear them. But yeah, it's just one of those things, and it's always going to be around. And like you said, I think they tastefully did it well. We didn't see it; we just saw their feet. That's really what we saw, and the costumes on the floor.
Hey,
Big
for
deal.
some people,
You know what I
seeing the feet, that's enough.
Now, how is that? You know what I mean? Why? Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I pay big bucks
unfortunately,
for that.
There's a lot of stuff on the internet that we do not discuss, and that is one of the creepier things. That's something that Quentin Tarantino and Dan Schneider are into things. That's not like a Nickelodeon operation. We do not talk about that stuff here.
We don't talk about She-Hulk feet.
Anyway,
Her well
What else?
pedicured She-Hulk feet.
All right, so let me get to some more comments.
We got more comments.
Bamba, my man says, kind of weird she never heard of DD though.
DD.
Well, he was an Avenger. He
I guess she only knows the big
vigilante that operates in only one part of New York.
Yeah.
So it's I get that. I hear what you're saying, and I'm sure a lot of fans were probably like, "What? Daredevil? You never heard of him?" But he wasn't he wasn't internationally recognized, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The MCU frog suit had kick-ass vibes.
Yeah,
It
Green
did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
very good one, Bambo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yes.
really did have that look. So that guy was cheating. Robert Mara.
Oh, the
Don't
Red
forget
Hulk
about the Red Hulk
reference.
reference. Yes,
Yeah. Is it
references.
gonna be Red
Yeah.
Hulk?
So
Is it going to be a Red Hulk?
there's been a lot of conversation that mom's getting
Mom's
real-
going
Wow,
in.
Mom's getting- jeez.
She's using all caps, guys. Look out.
Wow.
I think the whole intelligentsia is Marvel's big FU to the misogynistic jerks hating on the She-Hulk.
All right. I don't want to ignore the Red Hulk conversation.
No. Go
no,
for it.
Part of the humor, and also I guess the closest thing to antagonist that we've had in the show is we've seen She-Hulk being very referential to what's happening in the real world. Theories, you're out here talking about Mephisto constantly.
Confirmed? It's confirmed. No.
But the fans are making theories, and She-Hulk acknowledges the theories. I don't know if her acknowledging, a different colored Hulk, or Red Hulk, perhaps, is a confirmation of Red Hulk, or just saying we do see you talking about it, we acknowledge you, but you don't dictate where the narrative is going to go. But some fans are not necessarily. Some fans love that. I love that. I love being able to reference the audience, the toxic fan base, the theory fan base, everyone in the fandom, in Marvel and comic book movies at large. Do you have theories about Red Hulk? Who you think is going to be? Last week we referenced that Harrison Ford might be up for the role of Thunderbolt Ross. But that's just a rumor. Nothing's been confirmed.
No.
What do you feel about the possibility of Red Hulk coming back? And what do you think about the references that She-Hulk makes to and about her audience? Joe, why don't you start?
I'm all for, and that's my catchphrase, Red Hulk. If they use Harrison Ford to be Thunderbolt Ross, that would be cool. But if not, I think it would be a disservice to America not to include Stephen Lang on that list. You may remember him from Avatar. He played the bad guy, the human bad guy. Yeah. The military bad guy. I think he would be fantastic in the role, and I think that would be a good. If not him, at least we got him.
He said Stephen Lang, and I was like, Ant-Man? It's like
no, another guy.
What about Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner? No, because wasn't he Superman's dad? Like,
yeah, I know, but
he can't be someone else's dad.
But they're looking, but they're looking for that. I don't know, the distinguished old, type of character. I think it'd be interesting bringing in Red Hulk, but they need to. Whoever's going to be that character, has to give a good representation to it. And then, I mean, Harrison Ford is great. Don't get me wrong, he's great. But I mean, who else would play it?
So Stephen Lang would be great.
No.
Sam Elliott. He played him in 2003's Hulk.
Wait, who?
Denzel.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, that one,
He's been Ross.
Sam Elliott, he's
that's
got
a good
that.
one.
Yeah, throw out the angle.
Oh, but then he was in, Ghost Rider, and we can't,
Oh
yeah. No. Do it.
I mean, if we're gonna
Sam Elliott,
sign him up, Rider, then we got to get rid of Hondo because Idris Elba was in Spirits of Vengeance.
Yeah, he was Vengeance. So,
Billy, let me ask you something, because we were talking about the self-referential humor and addressing the audience and just acknowledging everything around the property. Another reference in that same scene was She-Hulk referring to fridging.
Yes.
It's like, how did you feel about that being referenced? What did you think about it, and how it relates to being a superhero protagonist.
I thought it was an interesting reference because, like, that's a term that Gail Simone had coined online before she became a comic book writer. She wrote an article about that and brought concept to a lot of the things. It was a Green Lantern tie-in. Basically, the idea that the girlfriend in Green Lantern got killed for the sake of making Kyle Rayner, the other Green Lantern at that time, get motivated. But yeah, it was a cliche that they have done a lot in comic books where people just try to capture like that Gwen Stacy vibe. Everybody tries to make that Gwen Stacy moment where they're like, oh, that was an iconic moment that ended the Silver Age. Let's try to do that on this comic as a way to boost sales when we're starting to dwindle, and also get rid of some characters that we've written into a corner. We can write in new characters by adding new love interest and start fresh by also getting some shock viewers. So it's become a practice that they've kind of toned down. It was actually something that's been done with like a bunch of different characters. Even She-Hulk's had that happen to like some of her love interest. That was, what was it, Jack of Hearts or whatever?
Joe.
Try it.
He was talking about love.
Keep it in your hands, Joe. I don't know.
I know. I'm being the responsible adult for this thing. How's that happening?
I'm
the guy came in with like the drinks and all at once, and I've done like all the visual gags and all the things.
One of us has to be the funny one.
Like a joke every goddamn week.
Well behaved, Billy. Well behaved.
Well done, Billy.
Good
all right.
job.
I want to do one more thing before we start to wrap things up. Joe, can you bring up that Rotten Tomato score?
Oh yes. And it is here.
There it is.
There we go. 87%. She-Hulk joins the list of our best shows of 2022.
Best shows of 2022.
Yes.
Right. Now this is not everyone's going to agree, clearly, but most critics seem to be giving the thumbs up to the show. So, Rick, I want you to start me off. Did that surprise you seeing the score? Do you agree with the score? I mean, I don't need to ask that question.
I don't
really positive.
Yeah.
But
look,
did it surprise you at least to see the recommendation? Because I feel like sometimes the negativity is louder than the positivity.
Oh yeah, obviously, like you said, there was a lot of negativity towards this. There was a lot, and then especially there was a lot of like people just do bang, 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 which lowered the score. And then when it came out with this, and I'm thinking the best show. Don't get me wrong, She-Hulk's a good show. It's enjoyable, but is it really in that say top 10 of best shows for 2022? There's so many other shows, great shows, which cap better than this.
Yeah, Strange New Worlds to me is the best show of 2022.
Well, anything Star Trek for you is
not everything. Picard wasn't that great.
You know what I mean? But there are a ton more shows which are better. I
thought
that's
Sandman
a bold.
was
That's a
too.
bold statement. That's
It
a bold
is.
statement for 2022. But yeah, do we all agree?
I mean, I think it's fair with the score. Having it, like, I also don't think it's in the top 10%. You know, I wouldn't necessarily rate it 90 or higher. I think 87 is a good score. I'm probably more seeing around closer to like an 80 myself. But these Rotten Tomatoes scores are like an average of multiple different critics. So I'm sure there's people who did rank lower and others who ranked even higher. And I might be a little surprised, but I'm not that surprised because I think it's a good show.
Yeah.
My only criticism so far, I think I've maybe given 2 negative criticisms, where I said that sometimes I wish it was funnier. And there was other times when I wish that the tone was a little more serious. And I found that this episode, and I think a lot of people agree, was their best episode. I think it was really, really funny. And when it needed to get serious, it got serious. And if it was like this the whole time, I would be absolutely putting it towards the 90. Not saying absolutely 90 because we're talking hypotheticals now, but like I'd absolutely see myself putting it at like such a high place. But so it doesn't surprise me that it's getting positive reviews. Maybe a little surprising that it was so high. But it was nice to see the good news, because the way you would hear people talk about it, whenever someone says, "Wow, we're doing a really good job," the follow-up question is, "But is there a season 2?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I kind of hope there is a season 2, because I know like that's a bad thing with a lot of science fiction shows and a lot of superhero shows. A lot of them don't always get season 2s unless they're on like the CW.
Right. Like the Marvel shows aren't even, with the exception of Loki and What If,
That's it.
all of their shows have led into other projects, whether it be other TV shows or other movies. I think She-Hulk will be appearing in Captain America: New World Order, which lends itself to Daredevil's prediction of MODOK.
MODOK confirmed.
But it's just interesting seeing the very loud and negative reaction from a few people, and this very positive reaction from Rotten Tomatoes, and it was just interesting to see. Gentlemen, I think it's time we wrap it up. Any final thoughts?
Just that people should try to come earlier to the show. It's nice to have everybody show up and watch, but you know, the most of you come right when we're wrapping up. I never understand that. Maybe it's an algorithm thing, but thanks for coming anyway. My last hurrah for She-Hulk is I think it'll definitely get a season 2, because there's no way they're going to wrap up Intelligentsia in one episode. I think that's impossible.
Okay, that is interesting. I never planned for a season 2, but that would be cool if we got one. Rick,
I just hope they just maybe extend this last episode a little bit longer, because you know they've been quite short. I would love to see maybe an hour or 45, a solid 45, not just do like 20 minutes and then the rest are all credits. Like that's I'd love that for the last.
for a second I thought you were gonna ask for like a Stranger Things hour. And
no.
Really,
But yeah, something like that.
I'm just picturing now like a She-Hulk finale with the Kate Bush song.
Running up that road, running up that hill.
Oh, I gotta just chime in just so we stop that song, just so we don't get copyright striked.
I don't think they're gonna copyright strike with my voice.
Yes, but you never know. YouTube is a very fickle mistress.
Yeah, it's true.
Billy,
But I actually still gotta say, like, I've been like looking at like the writers of these episodes. I've been like looking at who's doing some of this stuff, and I gotta admit, I like 3 of the writers from some of these episodes, and I hope that they get more focused next year. Like this guy that wrote to the episode this week was a writer from Robot Chicken. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, apparently he's also writes Spider-Punk and is going to write Miles Morales starting in December.
Very cool.
All right.
Looking forward to that. All right, Rick, Joe, Billy, we've been hanging around Hell's Kitchen for far too long. I think it's time to start getting ready to leave the lily pad.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining me. And all my buddies out there in the comment section. Thank you for participating. If you'd like to participate more, you can comment below, talk about the things we missed, questions you have, answers you'd like to find. You can subscribe, you can hit all the buttons. You know the buttons and you know what they do. And when you interact with those buttons, it helps us out in the algorithm of madness.
Yeah.
So hit all the buttons and help our channel grow.
Oh, my stepmom. Hi, Dory.
Hi, Dory.
You got the whole family joined.
The whole family's watching.
Oh, family joined.
Yay.
Thank you for joining us here at the Spectrum Sectorum. We're guiding light through all of pop culture. We will see you in the future.
See you guys.